Okay, let's just talk about what happened last time. I don't have the mics here, so maybe I just won't be able to hear. I won't be able to hear your conversation with you that easy, and it'll just be difficult trying to piece it together on the audio track. Let's see. I'm too lazy to run and get the mics. Although I can go get a mic and bring it, and you can keep it near you or something like that.
Okay.
You can hear.
Yeah.
I want to talk about what we did at the Skunk Ape spot briefly, a little bit about
Yeah.
what we thought we heard, what we did here, and in the video.
Okay.
About that.
So I just heard something directly behind me. It didn't sound like the wind. Although you can hear a lot of the wind in the trees, going through the trees right now. So you still hear the birds and the woodpecker over there pecking away.
These have magnets on them too, man.
I've never really seen that.
Yeah, they have a magnet. You just pop a magnet on it. Okay, so at least we got audio. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Oh. All right, so we'll take this moment of time right here where it kind of a little bit like it's at a pause. A lot of times when we're just nonchalantly talking and not paying really attention to our surroundings, things will happen. We'll pick up vocals, knocks, movement. Sometimes it'll happen like that as well. But at the Skunk Ape spot where we were sitting down eating jerky, we made a couple of things I thought that was pretty interesting. The wireless cameras picked up the whistles, I think is what it was. Yeah, I think two singles,
Yeah.
solo whistles, and your camera was running. Your camera picked up something.
Yeah. My GoPro picked up a vocal.
Yeah. Did you detect anything else when you reviewed over your footage or anything like that?
I did my audio recorder here. It picked up two vocals. It
Really?
picked up the vocal that my GoPro did,
Mm-hmm.
and like 2 minutes before that, it picked up. It sounded like the same voice, but it sounded a little further away.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't understand what it was saying, but it sounded like the same voice.
Yeah. Now, right here in the spot we're in, when I reviewed the footage for that the vocal in that one, as we were, I was getting ready to wrap up and leave, and it sounded like it said, it was a male voice, sounded male, and it was either saying Mandy or Andy. It was, you could hear a name.
Yeah.
Mandy, it sounded like it was Mandy or Mandy or Andy is what it sounded like to me, and we'll play that. I'll put that out also as well. But it was like Mandy, Andy, something just like right here in this very spot where we're at right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is the area that we also got the T-Rex studs too. When Mark, where I thought Mark had fallen, fell down and hit the ground hard, but he wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And it was right here in this spot. I mean, literally like where we're pretty much where we're sitting at right now.
Mm-hmm.
We heard like the T-Rex sounds. It was like big, thoo, thoo, and the thuds were like leaving us. Literally like it was like an invisible T-Rex that was stomping off and moving away from us. It was like 4 big thuds you can hear. And I'm talking thuds like Typhoon Lagoon type thud,
Yeah.
where the lagoon goes whoa, like that. It was really amazing. That was a jaw-dropping moment too. And I just told everybody, turn on everything. I was like, turn on everything, turn on everything. If you got, turn on everything. Something's happening right now.
Yep.
And so if you go to that one video, you'll hear the thuds, as whatever it was sounded like it was walking away from us. That was pretty awesome. And it was like something. It was like literally like something just jumped out of a tree. Although I didn't see any movement, but you could hear it land. It was like something landing out of a tree, right about where your tent is at. There was I remember a log being on the ground, so that looks like more than likely it was it. Something landing on the ground was like it just went away from us.
Wow.
It was really an amazing jaw-dropping moment, I'll tell you that much. All right. So we got one deployed far away. We can keep that one local if you want.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. I see your camera over there. All right, we'll wait it out a little bit more and see what happens. We'll do the film me briefly right here. There's the button right there. You'll be able to read that. What it is I have long thought that a lot of these sounds that we hear and encounter in these areas is a lot of times I feel it's instigated and facilitated by our own electrical instruments. I'm not saying the electrical instruments are the root cause. I'm saying it's a possibility that the electrical instruments stimulate the conditions for these vocals and for these interactions to start occurring. Like if you listen to my tri-field, right? Tri-field, it's not even doing anything. It's quiet and it's all magnetic. All right, and I'll take it and do this. Okay. All right, so you can see it's all magnetic, it's not doing anything. So let's just take the phone. The phone's running. I haven't suppressed anything on the phone. But when you take a phone and you induce movement, it's probably maxed out, ain't it?
Yeah, it is. Just like it was.
Yeah, my point is that our own instruments can create magnetic disturbances in the environment. And if the environment is like primed, or it's one of these environments where you're subject to get a lot of bizarre, weird activity, simply by having your instruments here, I feel, can contribute to things happening. And so just like I was able to generate a magnetic field just now, just by using the phone.
Yeah.
So as you're walking through your wilderness areas and you're moving and you're moving and you're bending and you're moving and bobbing and weaving, stuff like that, Okay, cut it. Ready?
Okay.
Film again. All right. Now, if you look at the television show Beyond Skinwalker Ranch, they went out to one of the ranches in the southwest portion or the south central portion of Colorado. And I want to say, I thought the ranch was called the Thompson Ranch or started with a T. Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe I'm right, I don't know. But they were talking about, the lady of the ranch was talking about everybody has these accidents all the time on this bridge. The bridge that's just south, right on the south side adjacent to their property. Could it be that simply because the bridge has a lot of metal in it, okay? There's no doubt about it. Has railings and everything like that going into the bridge. There's a lot of rebar. We all know this thing. Could it be simply because vehicles are moving in at high rates of speed through the bridge point creates a man-made magnetic disturbance that's higher than normal? And so all day long, as these cars just zip by and hit this point where there's metal near that bridge, my point is that could it contribute to create conditions that causes these things to happen, to where people, have gotten hurt? And the lady tells a pretty crazy story about the bridge as well. So if you want to watch that episode, I would encourage you to do it. But could it be something as simple as this? The car goes by real fast, and it creates a magnetic disturbance in the area, like magnetic vortices that occur. Now, I'm referring to totally something in the quantum physics realm. Could there be something that's occurring in the quantum level with the environments, with all the molecules, all the atoms, everything, with this disturbance, with cars going through there? Could it be cars that is the root cause of the disturbances that they detected in that area? And if so, could other bridges in particular areas induce the same thing? That's something to think about, because we got them right here in the Green Swamp also. I found a location in the Green Swamp also on 471 that seems to have a magnetic anomaly on that road. And I have yet to go back out there and survey that area in detail. It's kind of tricky though, because they're flying on that highway doing 80 miles an hour, and here you are out there, and they think you're just lollying around out there, and you're zipping by 80 miles an hour. You better be careful out there. But I've been meaning to go back out there and hit that area again with more detail, because that's my hunch. That is my hunch. What's going on with these magnetic disturbances, and things are attracted to that stuff. So that's all I want to say about that. All right, so that's part. Interesting, huh?
That's really interesting. Yeah.
See, it seems to do it on all the axes.
It does,
Yeah.
yeah.
It seems to do it on all the axes. And I don't know if a particular spot on the phone is it.
Yeah.
The phone has probably a magnetic, and there's probably magnets in here as well. Look at that.
I don't know how well you'll see the screen on the top of the sun.
Right.
That's
And,
the blazing.
yeah, and so you'll say, well, Chris, just bring magnets out in the field and just run some tests with magnets. I think other people have done tests with magnets too in the field, and determined that there was something to that. Activity can happen with magnetic fields that are induced. But the point I'm making is that these anomalies, could it be that these anomalies, these vocals we hear, these T-Rex sounds, all this stuff like that, could it be that it's equipment causing disturbance to where you can interact and hear things physically? Because we heard these T-Rex sounds physically with our own ears. I mean, we recorded it with our equipment. The audio recorders captured all that stuff, and Mark had a parabolic run. It's even on the parabolic as well. So it wasn't like we were imagining anything. We heard it with our ears. All four of us were standing there, and I had the camera running, the camera picked it up, and it's on the parabolic mic, it picked it up also. So something physically was happening, no doubt, is what was going on. In our physical reality, for sure it was happening. And so I have long thought that underneath the ground that we're on, if you watch my video that I was talking about in Yellowstone, I have long thought that this area is rife with underground caverns and underground limestone, crevices. I think the term is karst or something like that's what they call them, where it's like, maybe that's something that's above ground. I don't know, I'm not a geologist, you know what I mean? But let's just say Florida's filled full of these cavernous limestones where water flows and everything like that. When you have a large amount of water coming into any kind of an area, water itself being made up of the hydrogen and the oxygen. If you ever did the electrolysis of water experiment, I think most of us did that in high school chemistry, to where you separate the water, it's energy. Water is energy because we all know oxygen is explosive, okay? And you can also do something with the hydrogen as well. So it is energy. So when you introduce large amounts of water moving under pressure, could that be also a catalyst of why things happen in this area also? So when you bring electrical instruments in here that can induce magnetic fields and create magnetic fields, could that be what's going on as well? And so I would ask people to put this into your research when you're out there. See if you can stimulate conditions with this little bit of knowledge on magnetic field and creating them to be able to create interaction. And interesting.
Yeah, real interesting.
All right, so let's put a part in here. Let's cut that. Let's put a part in here about NOx. I want to get your take on NOx. I want to hear what you got to say about NOx. Hold on, so let me move a little closer. I'm gonna film you.
Okay.
All right, so what I want to do is I'm going to talk to Tim, because we had a discussion briefly about NOx in the vehicle coming out here. So I think there's a lot to be said about NOx. And we're going to get Tim's take on it and see what he thinks about the NOx that are often recorded and happening in and around these Bigfoot areas. All right, so let's see. All right, so Tim, what do you think? What are your thoughts on NOx?
Okay, so I've heard a lot of different theories about what the NOx could be. Mine myself, from what I've been experiencing in my research, from things I've caught on, like on my thermal camera, from hearing the NOx myself, I'm really wondering if it could be them like coming in or out of the dimensions, and the NOx is like a like when an airplane comes through the sound barrier and you hear that boom.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it could be something like that, or like on a smaller scale, like a little boom on a smaller scale, is what I wonder about that sometimes.
As in, like something like some kind of a threshold being
Like
being
coming through
broken.
the veil or a threshold.
Yeah, some kind of a, for lack of a better term, you hear us use terms like veil. The threshold. I know I use threshold a lot of times when I talk about these vocals.
Yeah.
So you think maybe something, the sound itself, the knock itself, could be
like that little
the
boom.
event horizon, so
Yeah.
to speak.
Yeah, like that.
The breaching.
Yeah, breaching, coming through our dimension or going back to another dimension.
Okay. Have you ever heard knocks that form patterns?
No, I haven't. No, not.
Think hard
I've
now.
heard. Most of the time when I hear a knock, it's usually a single knock.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I have heard like one or two, like two at a time maybe. But I don't really remember like hearing like one over here, one over there, like triangle.
Yeah.
I haven't actually heard that myself.
Yeah. And so, And so the Knox, have you, from what you can recall, and don't get me wrong, just because you say you don't remember something doesn't mean you go back in another video and go, I completely forgot about that one,
Yeah.
because that happens all the time.
Oh, yeah, sure
When
does.
you've been doing this for a while, you will forget a lot of things, and you'll be like, I don't know, you know. But double knocks, double taps. Have you ever called out to the wilderness and any kind of responses like that before?
No, I haven't. No. And part of that's because I grew up hunting and I've always been quiet in the woods, so I haven't really. It took me a little while too to actually just like start talking to them, and yeah, at first you feel kind of foolish when you start talking to them, but after a little bit you know that they're there, you know they can hear you. So after a little while you get a little more comfortable with it. But I've been real quiet in the woods most all my whole life.
So you think? Okay. So all right. So let me ask you something on the knocks. So you think the knock sound itself is like the threshold being breached?
Yeah, being
Something
breached, yeah.
something breaching or penetrating
Yeah.
our reality, so to speak. And
Because again, that goes back to quantum physics with there being 11 dimensions, maybe even more. So that's what I really do.
yeah,
think.
yeah.
Plus, I've talked to a psychic before that she said that when she first actually talked to him, the first time she got real sick, and when she talked to him another time later on, she said they told her she got sick because they were actually traveling through a different plane, like going through dimensions. That's what made her sick.
Have you ever had the sounds of knocks and vocals that you could distinguish with your own hearing? Have you ever had anything like tied together, or is it kind of sparsed out? Kind
I've
of.
caught it on audio recorder, but not hearing it with my own ears. But I've caught it on audio recorder by leaving it out in the swamp for like 3 or 4 days, and I could hear them during the night, like making knocks and grunts, like they're communicating, almost like three cavemen communicating with each other, going back and forth.
Okay, but let me ask you this a second here, okay? I turned it off. Who's the guy? The Greek philosopher that did the allegory on the wall. What was his name? Starts with a P. Plato.
Plato.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to talk about Plato.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so if you think about something based upon what he was saying, that he thinks there's some kind of a threshold, something breaching, and that could be the sound that we're hearing. Let me introduce something called, I think it's called Plato's Cave. It's an allegory of some sort right here. So don't laugh at me. I'm pulling a lot of this stuff off my memory right here of what the correct terms were called. But as Plato's Cave, what it was that the men were in the cave, and they're seeing their shadow on the wall from a light source behind them that's outside the cave, to my understanding, if I remember right. I can't remember where the fire was at, but anyway, what they're doing is they're looking at their shadows on the wall. All right. So if you think about it, okay, in Plato's cave, the men are frightened of their own shadows, even though the shadows are projected by them, but the shadows are not them, they're shadows. So as we start seeing shadow creatures and shadow men and stuff like that, which I will tell you is absolutely 100% legitimate and real, it has happened to me enough to definitely, I don't have any doubt in my mind that the shadow beings happen. I've had enough encounters with them. Could it be that coming across these shadow creatures are kind of maybe that threshold stuff in Plato's cave, as in like maybe the light source behind the men is like the threshold, the barrier? And when you see a shadow person or interact with a shadow person, let's call it a person or creature or what have you, and that the shadow you see is actually them, is what you see projected in your reality. And this is why we see them kind of interacting with us and darting with us. Sometimes people are touched by these shadow things and so forth. Could it be something like this, and that in our physical reality we could only see the shadow of them?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
wow.
That we can only see the shadow
Yeah.
of them.
Yep.
Even though there's something legitimately there,
Mhm.
there's a barrier in between us.
Mm-hmm.
And what we see in our reality is the shadow of them being projected in our reality.
Yeah.
So
That's
that would
something to
be
really think about,
something. Yeah, that would be something in essence, possibly as something in another dimension
Mm-hmm.
of some sort. And you don't, guys, you don't even want to hear. You don't even want to hear what I think about time. You don't want to hear. I've been putting a lot of thought into time about what's going on. But I will tell you this much: Tom came out here and told me when he was sensing spots that I took him to. He was sensing the areas, and he said they're on a different time.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he said. He said they're on a different time, and there's something about it that I'll go back and look at the video. But he mentioned that they're on a different time.
Mm-hmm.
So, by the way, everybody, Tom is recovering, doing really well. I got a text from his wife, doing really well, and thanks to everybody out there for all the thoughts and prayers on Tom. Keep it up, and he's still in a recovery phase, people. So let's keep him in our thoughts and good prayers here. All right.
I've heard another person say that as well. Robin Haynes McRae. She was
Who is she though? I don't.
she's
It
she
ain't
was,
ringing a bell.
um she's in I actually first learned of her. She's in Jason Kinsey's Searching for Sasquatch documentaries. She's up in like his second or third documentary where he introduces her and he's talking to her. And she grew up like mentally talking to Sasquatch, and as a kid she thought everybody did. She didn't know she was doing something different, like telepathy with the Sasquatch. But she's mentioned that as well. She said that when they went into another dimension, their time was different. So she said the same exact thing. Yeah. I'm actually friends with her now on Facebook, and I have interacted with her just a little as far as like conversation, just on a real small scale.
Yeah. Well, some physicists and scientists say it in their scientific speak.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of say it in their scientific jargon, the way they use,
Mm-hmm.
that if it wasn't for gravity, there would be no time.
Mm-hmm.
And so gravity has a lot to do and everything to do with time. And even Einstein did the experiment down. I think they went down in South America. What they did was they was trying to see if gravity could bend could bend light and things like this. And we all know how a lot of things are based upon the speed of light, and a lot of things in the physics and in the quantum explanation of things is a lot of it is rooted and based upon time and gravity and how all the elements interact. And I'm beginning to think more and more and more that we've heard this before and said by many people before, even physicists, is that everything in the universe is connected.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, when you go to these places that we're in, okay, and how things can follow you home, and how entanglements can occur, a lot of people say, "Oh, there's an attachment." I just like to call it I call it an entanglement. There's a reason why something is connected to you somehow. There's some type of an entanglement occurring, and the entanglement can even go into your dreams and a lot of things like that, people. So it's a very interesting field of study that you can spend some time in, so long as you don't go too deep in the rabbit hole, because the rabbit hole has a tendency to not let you out once you get down in it.
Yeah, it sure can.
All right, I have to keep the clips not so huge.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so anything else you want to talk about, or anything flowing?
I wouldn't mind talking about a couple of the dreams that I've had that kind of go along with what you just said.
Okay, so I'll butt tail into that one, and
Okay.
I'll lead that by saying, okay, so since I brought up some dreams, has anything? Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, I know I've had things happen to me in my sleep and my state, and it's even spilled over into my wife as well. Uh, there was one time that I heard as clear as day. There was like this ring, like a ring, like a giant ring. It was so strong that it, for lack of a better term, I was awakened by it, and I was thinking that was almost in my head, but I don't see the dog being disturbed because normally she would be barking and stuff like that. So I didn't see anything physically going on around me, but I heard this ring clear as day. My wife tells me later that day. She said, "Did you hear that bell or whatever?" She said it to me later during that day, and I was like, "Oh my God, you heard it too?" I thought that was in my head, and something was messing with me again. She said, "No, I heard it too." But the dog didn't give us any indication of hearing it or anything like that at all. So, did it happen to both of us simultaneously in our head? Those are things that I would call like entanglements. So let me get your take on that with dreams. Has anything happened to you?
Yeah, I've had a couple of dreams too that I believe were entangled like that. One of them I had was of two young Sasquatch juveniles, and in my dream, which seems so real that I really remember it really strongly, is they got right up close in my face. I could see their dark skin. They had like a dark gray skin. They had black hair, both of them. They showed me their teeth. Their teeth looked almost exactly like ours. One of them, he took off running and came back so quick, just to show me their speed, and it was almost like he just like went into a puff of smoke almost and came right back. He was showing me how fast they could run, and I believe this was actually an entanglement because this was after I had come back from a day of research, and then I had that dream during the night. Also had another dream one day after we were out in the woods, out in the green swamp, and I had found this old barbed wire fence because some of these properties out here used to belong to other people in the past at times.
Right, homesteads,
and they had cattle and stuff like that. So I found this old barbed wire fence, and part of it was down. It was all rusty and all. But then later that night, I had a dream that a red Sasquatch was telling me go look at the fence, and when I did, I looked at the barbed wire fence in my dream. There was red hairs on the barbed wire fence from that red Sasquatch.
Well, they say we call him Big Red.
Big Red,
His nickname is Big Red.
Big Red, that's right.
That guy has been seen a few times out here.
Yep.
And everybody just kind of collectively calls him Big Red.
Yep. Also, I have times where, like if I hear something during the night, my dog's laying on the bed too, and if I hear something, I'll look up at her and see if she heard it too, because she'll just stand up and look. And usually if I hear something, she hears it too. So yesterday morning, like real early in the morning, like a lot of times I'll wake up like around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, I'll wake up and I'll lay there a little while, go back to sleep until it's time to get up and go to work. But I was laying there trying to go back to sleep, and I don't know if I was dreaming or if I really heard this, but I heard what sounded like what people say an 800-pound owl outside my back window. Yeah. And as soon as I heard that, I sat up and looked at my dog to see if she heard it, see if she responded. And she didn't. She was still laying there asleep. I looked at Lynette. She was still laying there asleep. And I mentioned it to her yesterday too, and she didn't. She said she didn't hear nothing like that. So I don't know if I dreamed that or if I really heard it, because I was kind of laying there like half asleep, half awake. And with it sounding like an owl or something, my dog might not have responded to that anyway. We have roosters and stuff that we hear in the mornings, and she don't respond to nothing like that. So I'm just wondering if I really heard that or not, or if that's some kind of entanglement. But that's another one of those. If it was a dream, it's another one that really stands out.
Yeah. Well, if you go upon the idea, and you say, in a quantum mechanical, quantum scientific explanation of the universe, and if you say everything is connected to some extent somehow by the elements, being touching, the elements of the atoms are all touching and stuff, you know, does space have like, you know, is space made up of something that's like a gel material, even though we call it a vacuum, but on another level, is there something there that facilitates a connection of some sort? I even seen this one video that I thought was very amazing, how they were discussing that everything is connected, and that even consciousness is, how did they phrase it? Consciousness. I'm trying to think what it was. I need to go back and study the video, but or listen to it. It was a very interesting discussion that they had. How even consciousness was like alive of some sort is what they were discussing, and how it is facilitating the interactions, and you know, because you know, realistic when you think about it, you know, what is our reality if you think about it? Our brains are encapsulated inside of bone.
Yeah.
Our brains are inside darkness.
Yep.
And so your brain doesn't have any sense of reality. All this green, all this, everything out of the sky, the ground, the earth, you have no perception or any kind of conscious thought of it other than your senses.
Yep, that's right.
Your senses are the one feeding this stuff to you.
Yep.
And your brain assimilates it, puts it all together, and says, this is reality. You know, this is the world that I live in.
Yep.
So even the very notion of consciousness is a very fascinating and deep subject. And AI is going to have a lot to do with, I think, in the future with consciousness as well. Could be a deadly game. It could be a deadly game we play. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. That's some video footage. Hope you
Yeah.
get some footage. Are you getting any?
Yeah, I'm filming too.
You need to get it.
Yeah,
You need to
I'm
get it
with
closer to us.
No, that's good. Yeah. Yeah.
The thing is that, okay, so we've been jibber jabbing, and I haven't physically heard anything.